Hello everyone, welcome back. In this video, we are learning about cholinergic drugs. What are the drugs and what are its pharmacological actions and the uses. In the previous video, we have discussed about cholinergic systems. That means what are the receptors and the neurohumoral transmission, that is acetylcholine, its synthesis, storage, and transmission. So that's continuation. This video. What are the drugs and how it acts on the receptor? What are its actions? So let's see. Yes, cholinergic drugs are also called cholinomimetics and parasympathetic. These are classified into cholinergic agonist and anticholinesterases. These drugs, cholinergic agonists, are which produce the action similar to that of acetylcholine by directly interacting with the cholinergic receptors. And anticholinesterases increase the availability of acetylcholine at these sites. Cholinergic agonists are of two types, choline esters and alkaloids. Anticholinesterase drugs are reversible and irreversible. Cholinergic agonist choline esters are acetylcholine, methacholine, carbachol, betanicol, and alkaloids include muscarine, pilocarpine, aricoline. Moving on to actions of acetylcholine, depending on the type of receptor through which it is mediated, the actions of acetylcholine are classified as muscarinic or nicotinic. Muscarinic actions are on heart, hyperpolarizes the SA nodal cells and decreases the rate of diastolic depolarization, and rate of impulse generation is reduced. So ultimately it causes bradycardia, that is decrease in the heart rate, or even cardiac arrest may also occur. On blood vessels, all blood vessels are dilated, so it causes fall in BB. Vasodilation is primarily mediated through the release of an endothelium dependent relaxing factor, that is nitric oxide. And in the smooth muscle is most organ is contracted, and the tone and peristalsis in the gastrointestinal tract is increased and sphincters relax. So it causes abdominal cramps and evacuation of bowel. And peristalsis in the ureter is increased, that is in the detressor muscle is contracted, so causes voiding of bladder. In the bronchial muscles, they also constrict, cause bronchospasm. In the glands, secretion from all parasympathetically innervated gland is increased via M3 receptor and some M2 receptors. The secretions are like sweating, salivation, lacrimation, increased gastric and tracheobronchial secretions. On eyes, the function in eyes is the contraction of circular muscle of iris causes miosis, that is constriction of pupil, and contraction of ciliary muscles causes spasm of accommodation, and this leads to increased outflow and reduction in the intraocular tension. Coming to nicotinic actions on autonomic ganglia, there are some functions. Both sympathetic and parasympathetic ganglia are stimulated. By this, it causes tachycardia. And on the skeletal muscles, it causes contraction of the muscle fiber. And in the intra-arterial injection, causes fasciculation. The action on CNS is, as acetylcholine do not penetrate blood-brain barrier, so no central effects are seen. If injection is given directly into brain, it produces a arousal response followed by depression. So these are the functions, muscarinic actions and nicotinic actions of acetylcholine. Cholinergic effects, that means when the acetylcholine is more, or if acetylcholinesterase is reduced, if it is overstimulated the receptors, what would happen? These are the effects like oversecretion, salivation and lacrimation, urination, defecation. These are the cholinergic effects if the acetylcholine is excess. Next, uses of acetylcholine. It is rarely used, or if it is so used, it is clinically. And acetylcholine is not used because of it is non-selective action. Now, uses of betanicol. It is used to treat post-operative urinary retention. That means after a surgery, there is a problem to urinate. Despite a full bladder, the person cannot be urinate. So that is the postoperative urinary retention. In that case, bethanyl is used to treat. And in the congenital megacolon means the abnormal dilation of the colon. And in the postoperative paralytic ileus, and it is also used as a saliva. That means it increases salivation. And pilocarpine is the one other drug. It's a cholinergic alkaloid. It is obtained from the leaves of Pilocarpus microphyllus, and it has prominent muscarinic actions and also stimulates ganglia, mainly through ganglionic muscarinic receptors. So it is available in the drops, that is 0.5 to 4% drops, used in the open angle glaucoma and to counteract the actions of mydriatics. And in the xerostomia, that means in the dry mouth, it is used. As their action says, to increase the secretions. So pilocarpine is used for xerostomia. Next, muscarine. It occurs in poisonous mushroom, Amanita muscaria. This muscarine has only muscarinic actions and it is not used therapeutically, but it is of toxicological importance, that is mushroom poisoning. Next, moving on to anticholinesterases. These are the agents which inhibit cholinesterase enzyme and protect acetylcholine from hydrolysis, produce cholinergic effects in vivo and potentiate both in vivo and in vitro. Some anticholinesterases have additional direct actions on nicotinic cholinesterase. So these are classified into reversible and irreversible. Reversible drugs are carbamates, that includes physostigmine, neostigmine, pyridostigmine, edrophonium, rivastigmine, donepezil, galantamine, tagrin. And irreversible are organophosphates, that includes diflos, ecothiopate, malathion, diazion, and so on. Some of the irreversible carbamates are also there, like carbaryl and propoxyl. Mechanism of action of this anticholinesterase is same like acetylcholine. The enzyme cholinesterase enzyme has two sites, anionic site and esteric site. So the generally acetylcholine binds to the both the sites in the anionic site and the esteric site, and then it hydrolyzes into acetic acid and the choline. So same as acetylcholine, these anticholinesterases also bind to these sites and prevent the acetylcholine from hydrolysis. So the reversible anticholinesterases bind to both the anionic and esteric site of cholinesterase enzyme. Edrophonium, which is a reversible anticholinesterase, binds to only anionic site of cholinesterase enzyme, and the irreversible organophosphates bind to only esteric site of the enzyme, and that resists to hydrolysis because they are covalently bond, so which is a strong bond and resist to hydrolysis. The aging of the enzyme totally resists to hydrolysis. In this figure we can see the acetylcholine binds to both the sides and the binding reversible in milliseconds, that is a fast hydrolysis of acetylcholine. And the edrophonium, which is a reversible, and it binds to only anionic site and its reversible action is within minutes. The reversible anticholinesterases bind to both the sides of the enzyme and the reversible action is within hours. And the organophosphates irreversible binds to only esteric site. They are bonded by covalent bonds and the binding reversible either in days or not at all. So binding only to esteric site is the irreversible covalently. Now let's see the pharmacological actions of the drugs. Physostigmine and neostigmine. The differences are the source is physostigmine is a natural alkaloid while the neostigmine is a synthetic. And it is a tertiary amine, it is a quaternary amine. And the oral absorption for physostigmine is good, but neostigmine is poor absorption orally. CNS actions are present for physostigmine, but neostigmine cannot act on CNS. And physostigmine can penetrate through cornea, so it can be applied to eye and has poor absorption. Direct actions on NM receptor is absent for physostigmine and it is present for neostigmine. The prominent effect on is autonomic effectors for physostigmine and the prominent effect is on skeletal muscle, that is neostigmine. So the important use of physostigmine is used as a mitotic in the glaucoma. And the important use of neostigmine is myasthenia gravis. The dose of physostigmine is 0.5 to 1 mg orally and parenteral, and it is also available in the eye drops from 0.1 to 1% drops. The neostigmine is 0.5 to 2.5 mg through IM or SC, that is intramuscular or subcutaneous injection, and 15 to 30 mg orally. As this oral absorption is very poor neostigmine, so oral dosage is more. The duration of action of physostigmine is 4 to 6 hours systemic, and in the eyes 6 to 24 hours, while neostigmine is 3 to 4 hours its action is. And the uses of anticholinesterases. Most of the anticholinesterases are used as a mitotic. In glaucoma, mitotics increase the tone of ciliary muscle and improve the alignment of trabeculae so that outflow facility is increased. So, by this all, it helps to reduce the intraocular tension. Mitotic means which constrict the pupil, and pilocarpine is preferred as a mitotic. Next, the other use of anticholinesterases is in the myasthenia gravis. This is the autoimmune disorder in which self antibodies are produced. Autoantibodies are produced to NM receptors. Actually, the acetylcholine has to be released and it has to be bind to the receptors, and then the muscle activation takes place normally. But in the myasthenia gravis, there are antibodies and they block the receptors. So, acetylcholine cannot bind to the receptor and there is no muscle activation. So, in this way, the myasthenia gravis is caused, and the treatment is, that is drug used in the myasthenia gravis is reversible anticholinesterase is a neostigmine, and pyridostigmine and abiraterone. These are the congeners of neostigmine, can also be used. Adrophonium is a diagnostic test used for the diagnostic, and other treatment is corticosteroids, immunosuppressants, plasmapheresis, thymectomy. These are the treatment for the myasthenia gravis. And other uses of anticholinesterases are, it is used in the postoperative paralytic ileus in the urinary detention, and postoperative decurization, and then and for snake venom poisoning, atropine poisoning, and in the Alzheimer's disease, rivastigmine, donepezil, galantamine. These are the drugs used to treat these disorders. And the most important topic is anticholinesterase poisoning, is also called organophosphate poisoning, that is, these are caused by the irreversible drugs. Anticholinesterases are easily available and extensively used as agricultural and household insecticides. Accidental as well as suicidal and homicidal poisoning is common. So, local muscarinic manifestations at the site of exposure, that is on skin, eye, GIT, occur immediately and are followed by the complex systemic effects due to muscarinic, nicotinic, and central actions. They are, muscarinic symptoms are salivation, lacrimation, urination, defecation, GI cramping, emesis, and the nicotinic symptoms are muscle cramps, tachycardia, weakness, twitching, fasciculations. So the treatment is the termination of further exposure to the poison, and the proper airway should be maintained, and the supportive measures like maintain BP, hydration control of convulsions with judicious use of diazepam have to be taken. And there are some specific antidotes, that is atropine. Atropine is highly effective in contracting the muscarinic symptoms, but higher doses are required to antagonize the central effects. So, all cases of anticholinesterase poisoning must be promptly given atropine. And cholinesterase reactivators. Oximes are used to restore neuromuscular transmission in case of organophosphate anticholinesterase poisoning. Palindroxim is a cholinesterase reactivator. Let's see how it reactivates the enzyme. Here the enzyme is binded with the organophosphate, that is anticholinesterase, to esteric site, and when palindroxim is induced, it has a positive nitrogen ion and it is attached to the anionic site, and the oxygen group of this palindroxim forms a bond with the phosphate and forms a oxime phosphonate. So this bond is formed between the palindroxime and the organophosphate. Now the bond between the phosphate and the ester group is dissoluted. The complex oxime phosphonate diffuses from the enzyme and making it reactivated the enzyme. In this way, this cholinesterase reactivators reacts with the acetylcholinesterase enzyme. This brings me to end of the lesson. Thank you. Keep watching.